A lot of us want to get rid of this habit, doom scrolling. I mean, think about the name, doom scrolling. Just look at the amount of videos there are about doom scrolling. So many different protocols. There are literally multiple venture-backed companies like Opal, OneSec, Screen Time that are designed to help us reduce screen time. I think those are all probably great apps. You should use it if it's helpful to you. But I gotta scroll, man. I definitely feel happier when I'm at least a period of time away from my phone. That being said though, I don't think any true solution is possible with just like apps and protocols. There's not a single solution that's possible until we understand why we do it. Yes, we could do social media detox, app blockers, and put our phone away and whatever. Almost everyone eventually finds themselves back to scrolling. If you give up TikTok, you'll be on Instagram. If you give up Instagram, you'll be on YouTube Shorts. If you give up on that, you'll be on LinkedIn. Yes, I know people that scroll LinkedIn. It's a thing. In the end, without a viable option and understanding why we do this, we will be back in the same exact cycle again, no matter what. So I'm really trying to break down the why of the behavior, at least my reason for doing it. My question ultimately here is it possible to mindfully doom scroll? My thing is, we don't actually want to disconnect all the time. We just want to have some time disconnect from our phone. See, right now, as I'm making this video and this script, there's a song called My Little Soda Pop from K-pop D100. That one right there, that's absolutely blowing up my feed. There's no doubt that I feel a tremendous amount of joy watching the memes and covers that come out of this movie and this dance specifically. I also find so many amazing cat videos, especially the brain rot ones.
I got on a flight to go visit my good friend Larry, who moved away to get away from evil Larry. The Pinor explosion.
There's also nothing more hilarious than sending 30 reels to your friend for them to never reply to you, and they'll definitely never watch it. I think of you. It's fun. It's so much fun. When this is true, how could I ever hope to stop doom scrolling? I've watched videos of people climbing, of people Olympic lifting, beautiful National Geographic pictures, hilarious skits, people's careers changing, and also the most random edits, like this LeBron James edit with Master Oogway.
Today is a gift.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite saying.
Fire. And then I saw this Gojo edit with this Jenny cover. Fire. How could I possibly get that somewhere else? That's where creativity is right now. So there's definitely a lot of value in it. That's probably why it's so hard to give up. But it is knowing when to stop that matters. And that's what I'm trying to answer right now. I think when I've paid attention to how I scroll and my posting habit, things have definitely improved for the better. For example, just before making this video, I scrolled for a bit. I paid attention. I wasn't feeling good anymore, so I dropped it. If we really paid attention, I think doom scrolling has an element of emotional amplification, followed by a real numbness. Things just become super amped up super fast without any effort, and then they become really numb, and you don't feel anything afterwards. So it's actually easier to see the ebbs and flows of our emotions. If we're in tune to that feeling, then we could learn to stop intuitively. Because all it really is just our regular life being compressed into a smaller window. A window that we didn't evolve to be used to, but we totally can. I think we can. It just comes down from understanding the behavior and our own feelings about it. So how do I do that? How do I scroll and stop when I want to stop? I think to get this feeling down, for a bit at least, you have to have space for emptiness, as in doing nothing. So if you're just starting out with this, I think it's actually better to like schedule in your scrolling time and then also have a time to not scroll, a type of fasting, if you will. And so in the early half of the day, try to schedule out time to just do nothing. It doesn't have to be extra hard. Ideally, you want to create something. So I tend to write a lot, I tend to draw, or I tend to edit stuff, or I tend to do work, like schoolwork. And once I did this, what I noticed was that my scrolling time felt better. Like I was picking out content that I genuinely found fulfilling, or even stupid, but intentionally stupid. Basically, I learned how to scroll well. And if you think about it, that's actually a modern day superpower. So what do I do in that 4 to 5 hours when I'm not scrolling? Well, if you have a job, you do your job. I got laid off, so I have open time. What I do is I try to remain without outside stimuli, whether that's music or even like visual cues like videos. And instead I opt in for things that are like more internally driven, I guess. It's a bit of a myth, but things like working out or stretching or breathing or meditating, I do all those things in the morning, and I will often write or read at that time as well. But the most important part here is that I think I'm sensitive to things that are bubbling out inside my head. I try to get it out in some ways, expressing it during this time, whether it's by asking questions, just letting it all out. through writing. And sometimes even in this time, I might find myself scrolling by accident, but it's not for very long and I stop when I need to. And it's not like a grand battle for my attention or something like that. It just feels natural. It happened. Now it's done. Back to what I want to do next. Funnily enough, a lot of my ideas in my writing just ends up coming from things I've watched anyway. So I know that it's somehow like coexisting. I just know I need balance of having nothing and having something at some point in my day. And this is probably the main reason why we can't stop scrolling, because we know to some extent it's probably helpful. And there's something that's giving that we're missing in our actual lives. If we could fulfill that aspect of it, then we probably won't scroll. I think you could figure that out when you're doing the empty space thing that I'm talking about. And the important part about creating during this empty space is that it helps me think about what I consume in a different manner altogether. When I'm watching a video now, it feels more like, wait, why did that person cut there? Why did they say this that way? Or why did they make this decision here? Rather than just watching the content. It's actually similar to now that I'm writing as well. That's how I think about reading. Like, why did the author talk about this here? Why is this character doing this? Those questions naturally kind of pop out once you've taken the other side of the equation, right? And my thing is that almost everyone probably is having this experience, but they're just not noticing it. The act of meta noticing, like noticing what I'm noticing, that's more common when you're aware of that empty space. The practice altogether, I feel like it makes me have all experience be more equalized in some sense. Whether it's watching TV or watching YouTube or reading, there's something to be learned from each of those experiences, and it doesn't have to be something that I have to fight over and grind over. Different mediums have different emotional tolls, of course, but this insight I think helps me control myself more intuitively. In all honesty, I don't control when I get distracted. I will get distracted and I will get lost in thought. But being lost in thought is equally as mindless as being lost in doom scrolling. Those are the same exact act, not different from any other point in human history, right? You know that feeling of driving your car for 30 minutes straight and then you just forgot you're driving? In that moment, you're actually mindlessly driving. Yes, your subconscious is helping you, but you are mindless. It's like I forgot who I was when I was driving at that moment. In a weird way, we're always multitasking, always distracted in some sense. Whether we had the iPhone or not, it's something that has existed throughout human history. It isn't necessarily this hyper-destructive thing, but it's not ideal either. So for that reason, I think prioritizing activities that seem harder, that take more effort first, is very, very helpful in my opinion. For some people, reading might feel like more effort than watching stuff. So that means you should read first. Writing might feel easier than reading. So read first. Doing your science homework might feel harder than reading. Then do your science homework first. So whatever feels harder, take that option first. Also, it's not always that clear, to be honest. Sometimes I do enjoy doing my science homework more than I enjoy writing. Sometimes I enjoy writing more than I enjoy watching videos. So it's not really clear-cut rule like that, but the general principle that matters is that the effortful act should be done first. Another caveat to that is that almost every effortful act could be made easy. I could always make reading as easy as possible by reading things that I actually enjoy. So everything could be made easy and hard depending on how you frame it and your perspective on it. So it's not always that easy to see. But again, just remember the general principle first. So the adage that I follow is that I want to make the hard thing easy and then do that first. So for example, I felt like cleaning random things today, but that felt really hard. So I made it as easy as possible and did that first. And that was like folding clothes and cleaning the bathroom and whatever, like a lot of things that I don't want to do always, but I really wanted to at that point. And it did cause me some friction. In all these circumstances, awareness runs pristine. I do think all of us innately value things like deep work and joy and connecting with others, right? Things like creating new stuff and love and whatever, just feeling engaged. If we really do want that, then we just have to get out of our own way to have it. And in some ways, the things that we do while doom scrolling is substituting for that. And it is capitalizing on those things, but we could use that to our advantage. We can experience those feelings arising and passing while scrolling. We could experience the feeling of it not happening, the lack of those feelings happening, and also notice that. We could experience the act of not feeling fulfilled from it and notice that. Noticing those things has made me more intuitive. So live in an unbound fashion, free, and that's it, if that's actually what you want. The Buddha once supposedly said, just as we can know the ocean because it tastes of salt, we can recognize enlightenment as it tastes of freedom. I have no idea if that's a real quote or not, but I love that quote and I run with it, and I hope that helps you.